Hi there, it's your Sewing Sherpa Shauna, getting in a little bit of late night sewing tonight. So a few months ago, right? We did the wrap dress and it turned out really cute and everybody got completely finished in class, right? No, not really, but many people left without hems, and I said I would do a little video on twin needle sewing. So the opportunity has come up to do some twin needle sewing. I have to say I've been wearing my dress without the hem. Nobody notices. Nobody notices. So twin needle sewing. I have a pack here, a special pack I bought. Usually you buy twin needles, they have like one size, but this one has got 3 different sizes. And if you can see, these ones are really close together. The 2 needles are. This one, they're kind of medium, and these ones are kind of wide. Now, if you look at the hem on your t-shirts and stuff, they're usually pretty wide apart. Your t-shirts were done on a cover stitch machine. Which came first, the twin needle or the cover stitch machine? It was the twin needle. But anyways, cover stitch machines work completely different than our home sewing machines. And while I like the look of the wide apart needles, they tend to do something I call troughing on your sewing machine, like the bobbin will pull them together and it kind of makes a little bubble on the top. So anyways, I'm going to try it with the wide one and see what happens. This is called live. I should like call myself the like one hit wonder or something because I don't edit my videos. I'm trying the wide ones. So, because I like the look of the wide ones, and I'm doing a heavier knit. Like if I were on a lighter knit, you know, like something like a swimsuit knit, I might do closer together. All right, so first of all, you're gonna need one hit wonder, a screwdriver. Take your other screw, I have a screwdriver right here. Okay. Have to take your other needle out. All right. So screw it towards me, pull out my other needle. It's still in good condition. I'm going to put it somewhere where I'll use it later. Right. Okay, and that's what fell out. I don't need it. So I'm going to slide this in flat side to the back. Now, I was actually watching, or I was reading a review of the Eversewn Sparrow, and somebody was like, oh, I can't believe they charge that much, but it doesn't even have a twin needle function. Hello, there is no such thing on your sewing machine as a twin needle function. Okay. What they're talking about is a limit. So when you have 2 needles in, if you try and use your zigzag stitch, you're going to break your needle on the foot. You're going to break your needle on the throat plate. So you want to just do straight stitch with a twin needle. I mean, if you did a light zigzag, you probably get away with it, but why, right? Have you ever seen twin needles with a zigzag? But anyways, I'm assuming that's what they meant by the twin needle function, because otherwise, there's no other function. It's just a straight stitch. All right, so I've got the twin needles in, 1 shank, 2 needles. If I've got 2 needles, guess what else I need? 2 spools of thread. So I have 2 spools of thread here. Doesn't matter what, you know, you can do one color and one another color. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. And now I need my caps. I only got 1 cap. One hit wonder. Let's see, caps. Sweet, right there. That's a good organized, system when you got your caps where you want them, you got your needles where you want them, you got your screwdrivers where you want them. Oh, man. So the next thing is I've only got 1 place to feed thread from on this sewing machine. It's a horizontal spool thread thing right here. So there are these things called adapters. Okay, forgot that too. Where's the adapter? That one's a spindle. Oh, there we go. Spindles. So sometimes your machines come with one that go into a little hole on the top of your machine, and sometimes they come with one that goes over top of the bobbin winder. So this one goes on the bobbin winder. Sweet. So I only need that cap, and then I can set my other spool on there. So now I have 2 spools and 2 needles, and I'm literally going to thread both of the spools exactly the same. Exact same threading path. Some machines have got like a place where you can spread, like split the threads apart as you're going so that you can keep one separate from the other. Because I have to say, as you're sewing, they will start getting tangled, and it's just the nature of it. So I'm pulling on this one, and I can see that that's my top spool, and I'm pulling on this one, that's my bottom spool. So I'm going to keep my top spool to the right, my bottom spool to the left. I don't know that it really matters. twin needle sewing is kind of a crapshoot. I cannot tell you how many twin needles I have broken. You got to be careful with them. They're kind of expensive. So I've got this now, and the next thing I need are scissors. I am not editing this. I am too tired. It's been a long day. It's been a long week. All right. So, inside needle, outside, inside, whatever. Okay, so there we go. I decided, what do I care? All right, so now I've got to thread out my needles. And your automatic needle threader is obviously not going to work for this one. You're left on your own with that weird LED light and a random hole. And a prayer. Sometimes it's easier to thread if you drop your presser foot. All right, I've got them threaded. So 2 top threads, 1 bobbin thread. Of course, there's only one place to put your bobbin in. Always spins to the left, right? Correct? Left and right. Put my lid on. Turn off my tails. All right, so my machine is set up. I gotta make sure I'm in a straight stitch and the needle's centered, right? Because a lot of machines start with the needle off to the left. Move it over. Move it over. It needs to be centered. All right, so now I've got everything threaded up, my threads under the foot, towards the back, and I've got my dress here. So this is a dark blue and this is dark blue thread, so you're not going to be able to really see anything. But what I really want you to get across here is that, you know, normally when we hem, we turn our hem, so you can see there's a seam here. I'm going to turn it towards the wrong side, right? Correct. And then I'm going to sew it. But with a twin needle, the funny thing is that you have to sew from the top side. Same thing with a cover stitch machine. So you have to sew from the top side of the fabric. So if I'm going to sew a 1/2 inch hem from the top side, I'm going to have it pre-clipped, pre-pinned, pre-everything, because I'm working from the top side and I can't even see it. I can't see it. So I'll put this up here. And so like cover stitch machines, they have what you call a folder foot. I've never seen a folder foot for a plain old sewing machine, but there could be one. All right, I'm gonna double check. Yes, I'm in straight stitch. My needles are centered. I've got my zigzag foot on, so there's plenty of room for the needles to go through. I'm gonna turn it under my 5/8 of an inch. And I'm gonna set it down here. Drop my presser foot. Now with the twin needle, I do not back tack. I mean, you can I have back tacked before, but I find like it just kind of wraps things up, makes things a mess. So, I can feel my hem, and that's how I usually do them because I'm just not a really big pinner. And I know nobody's gonna get down and measure and make sure my hem's like 5/8 precisely all the time. So I'm gonna hand turn my needles in. Because like I said, I've broken a lot of those needles, and the best way to check and make sure things are lined up is if you hand turn it, because you can always stop if you hit something right away. All right, my Hail Mary. I'm not even Catholic. And I take a stitch. Ooh, that was easy. I think we do a little bit longer stitch because knits pull through a little bit more slowly, so a longer stitch will actually be a regular stitch. And it's sewing beautifully. Ah, like butter. I like it. So I'm basically just sewing straight all the way around, and I'm feeling my hem and making sure that the needles are catching it. And then once I get a few inches in, I'm going to double check, and yeah, it's doing a little bit of what I call the troughing. So let's see. That means that the bobbin is winning the war because it's pulling the top threads like together, which means I would increase the tension on the top. But having tight tension with a twin needle or with a knit is not a good idea. right? Because you need the thread to be slack so that it doesn't pop. So it's up to you. Adjust your tension. I suggest play around with some scrap fabric or something and just see like what happens if you reduce your tension or increase your tension. But really, if I'm going to do a lot of it, I need to go down to the bobbin and I need to reduce the bobbin tension, which means I have to take the whole throw plate out, take that little the little bobbin case out, find that little screw, put it back in, blah, blah, blah. I'm too lazy. I'm just going to deal with the trough. If you like don't want to deal with the trough, the narrower needles, the two together, they don't do it as bad because they're closer together, right? And they do the same thing. So on the back side, your bobbin thread is going to be wrapping around both the top threads, giving it a zigzag look and a zigzag fill. And we both know that when you stretch a zigzag, it stretches better than a straight stitch. So that's why twin needle is really good for knits, because it stretches a little. All right, so I'm gonna keep sewing around this and I'm gonna get this done, and I'm gonna sew the cuffs the same way, but it's gonna be a snooze fest for you. There's nothing to learn here, you're just sewing straight. Again, I'm looking at the top side of my fabric, so my hem's hidden underneath. I've got my twin needle in, straight stitching, going all the way around. I'm not back tacking. At the end, I'm gonna pull it out. I'm going to tie my threads off in a knot. So, okay, and you can back tack if you want to, but like I said, sometimes I get some weird results from that. So, okay, have fun with your twin needle.